mass exodus happening that nobody's talking about. The most conscious, awake, and psychologically developed people are quietly withdrawing from society. Not angrily, not dramatically, they're just disappearing, going off-grid, leaving social media, abandoning careers, ending relationships, choosing solitude over society. Carl Jung predicted this. He called it the necessary withdrawal, when someone becomes so psychologically conscious that participating in collective unconsciousness becomes physically painful. Not metaphorically painful. Actually, somatically, psychologically painful. I'm about to explain why Jung believed this disappearance isn't just inevitable for awakening people, it's essential. Why the more conscious you become, the less you can tolerate normal society. And why this isn't spiritual bypassing or escapism. It's the psyche's survival mechanism when surrounded by mass unconsciousness. If you've been feeling the pull to withdraw, to disappear, to leave it all behind, Jung would say you're not antisocial. You're becoming too conscious for the collective container. Here's what Jung understood that explains everything. Society runs on collective unconsciousness. Shared delusions, mass projections, agreed upon shadows. These aren't bugs in the system. They are the system. And it only works if everyone participates unconsciously. The moment someone wakes up, really wakes up, not just intellectually but psychologically, they become a glitch in the matrix. They can see the projections everyone else is living. They recognize the shadows everyone's avoiding. They understand the games everyone's playing unconsciously. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Jung experienced this personally. As his consciousness expanded, he found normal social interaction increasingly unbearable. Not because he was arrogant, but because he was awake in a room full of people talking in their sleep. Every conversation required him to pretend he didn't see what he saw, didn't know what he knew, didn't understand what was really happening beneath the surface. This is the curse of consciousness. You become psychologically alone, even when physically surrounded. You're speaking a different language, seeing different dimensions, operating from a different reality. And the effort required to bridge that gap, to constantly translate between your consciousness and collective unconsciousness, becomes exhausting. So the awakened start disappearing, not because they hate society, but because staying in it requires them to betray their consciousness. Every day demands they pretend to be asleep. Every interaction requires they dim their light. Every relationship asks them to be less than they've become. And eventually, the psyche says, enough. Withdraw. Preserve your consciousness. Stop letting the collective unconscious drain what you've worked so hard to develop. Jung discovered that as you integrate your personal shadow, the collective shadow becomes unbearable to witness. You're watching an entire society projecting its darkness while denying it exists. When you've faced your own capacity for evil, watching others project theirs onto scapegoats becomes agonizing. When you've integrated your own darkness, seeing society's shadow projections, the other political party is evil. That group is the problem. Those people are what's wrong. Feels like watching a mass psychosis, because that's exactly what it is. Jung called this the burden of seeing. The awakened person sees that most social conflicts are just shadow projections. Wars are collective shadows clashing. Political divisions are mass projections. Social media's outrage is collective shadow material seeking targets. Once you see this, participating becomes impossible. You can't join the mob, when you see it's hunting its own shadow. You can't pick sides when you understand both sides are projecting. You can't engage in collective blame when you recognize it as collective unconsciousness. So you withdraw, not from superiority, but from psychological necessity. One of Jung's students described it perfectly. I used to have strong political opinions. Then I integrated my shadow and saw that my opinions were just projections. Now, when I see political debates, I see two groups of people violently projecting